Pizza time. What's up, makeup minions? I'm Kim Witte from Witte Artistry, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am creating another food skeleton requested by you guys and my cousin Harley. This turned out so cool. Let's begin. If you like me and like my videos, it would mean the world to me if you became a sponsor on my Patreon page. Okay, this is something that I really wanted to do. I'm excited to continue this series. Sorry about the little bit of a delay associated with it, but I thought it'd be really cool, and so did you guys, to make a skeleton completely out of pizza. I decided for my arms and my sternum that I would replace them with a piece of pizza, and the rest of the skeleton would be implied pizza. So it's like if the bones were made of cheese and sauce, and I wanted it to be a pepperoni pizza because I wanted this to be super iconic looking. Like you just look at it and boom, you immediately know that it's made of pizza. So I am creating really long, ooey gooey pizza slices for my arms. These are replacing my humeri and my upper arm bone. And I'm leaving space in the yellow to put the pepperoni because I don't want the pepperoni to be infected with yellow. I put down the crust with brown body paint. I am using all Mayron for this look, by the way. And I am creating some vertebra with cheese drips. And I decided that I wanted the skull to be the shape of the skull, but basically remove the jawbone, so it's more like a cartoon essence of a skull that's going to be dripping down and creating these holes that imply teeth. Outlining the eye sockets, which are going to be nice and dark and cheesy later, because it ain't easy being cheesy. All right, I am filling in everything just with yellow body paint. It has a hint of brown in it, just so it's a little less neon, like yellow normally is. So I'm leaving space for my nostrils. I am creating some pretty sharp cheekbones, and then I am creating little drips that are coming down. Mixing together some red with some brown, I'm going to be creating the sauce. All y'all know that all the sauce builds up by the edge of the crust, and it is delicious. So that is what I'm doing near the crust pieces. And then I am adding more brown to the mixture of red to create that dark, rich cherry tone that pepperonis have, and just filling in the pepperoni slots I left and choosing to add some more to the ribs and stuff and the clavicles. So I just added a couple of pepperonis wherever I thought they looked like a good spot to have some pepperoni. It's my pizza. I can decorate it the way I want. And on the underside of the skull and the underside of all the cheese, I wanted sauce to be there, sort of like the bones are slipping and the sauce is dripping underneath it. Like, you know, when you grab this slice from the center of the pizza and the toppings shift and it just shows the sauce. That's what I was going for. So I'm underlining all of the shapes with the sauce color and adding a couple of drips, but not too many because sauce isn't really that drippy like the cheese is. And then with a little bit more orange, I'm adding some texture into the cheese because y'all know that cheese has different tones and different colors in it, and especially if it's greasy, there is going to be a lot of different textures, lumps, drips, different colors. If you ever study cheese and look at it really closely after it's been cooked, it could be like yellow. I mean, obviously this is a mozzarella cheese because it's a pizza, but lots of colors. Adding some light brown to the crust for some variation and some dark brown to the edges of the crust for some more color variation. I highly recommend you look at pizza pictures the entire time you're doing this. That's what I was doing. But everything was just made up. I had a quick little drawing that I did that literally took 10 minutes that I mapped out kind of the idea and came up that I wanted the arm bones to be pizza slices and the sternum to be pizza slices and sort of just the shape of everything. But other than that, this was all freehand. So I'm adding in highlights in the cheese. Sorry if I sound a little stuffy. But I am adding highlights to the cheese with a lighter yellow, making sure that I am dotting textures everywhere because the cheese has little bumps and I don't want it to be super smooth. I want it to be like a pizza. And then I'm adding some brown into the cheese as well. And now adding some dark brown red into the sauce to create the depth that you get when you bake the crust and bake the sauce. It gets like all these little darker spots. Now with that dark brown, I'm outlining all of the pepperonis and adding texture to them. And pepperoni gets real greasy, so we need a lot of highlights in them. So I am adding some light red to it to create the variation of depth in the disc. And now I am outlining everything in black body paint. Take your time with this part. This is honestly the part with illusions that takes the longest. I wish I could just, like, on a computer hit fill all black, but obviously I can't because it's on me and I can't do that. So very, 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 very carefully outline everything with that black. I do typically have to do 2 layers of black in order for it to get completely dark. But make sure you are very careful, you take your time, because nothing is more depressing than accidentally ruining all of your work because you were rushing the part that you thought was going to be really easy. Get all that skin all nice and dark, and don't forget your ears. And I will be filling in my hair, but I hadn't made up my mind yet at this point in time. Now to create the stringy little gooey bits that happens when you separate pieces of pizza. You get those tiny little strands of cheese. So with a detail brush, I'm taking the base yellow color that I had started with, and I'm dragging it in between all of the pieces that I think would have those strings, like the ribs and some of the vertebra, because they're close enough that they might touch and then pull apart again and create all those little stringy pieces. I really think this was an important aspect of the makeup that really pulled it all together. And now for those highlights on the pepperoni. Like I said, they super greasy. So this is basically a pink, and I'm adding selective highlights because grease actually pools in pepperoni on pizza and creates little puddles. So it has a lot of highlights. I'm adding highlights to the sauce also with that pink. And now I'm highlighting the cheese more. Decided there just needed to be more depth, and also the cheese is greasy on pizzas too. So at the highest points on the crust and the cheese, I'm just adding those little highlights. Fill in your hair with black body paint. Be really careful around those edges. By the way, what food skeleton would you guys like to see next? I am going to continue this series along with little makeup minion creatures. Thank you guys for being so encouraging and patient with these processes, because I manage all of this myself, so it can get a little overwhelming sometimes dealing with the back end and the front end and the art and everything. But I am continuing those series. I'm working on doing my best, so let me know what you guys want to see. Adding some drippy bits to my chin and outlining that, I decided that I wanted to have the implied front of the mouth drip down, so it's kind of like a Punisher skull. And then I'm going to use black to actually create the quote-unquote teeth, the essence of teeth in the skull. I hadn't made up my mind at this moment. I was just going to have the cheese drip down over my lips. But I ended up not really being happy with that, so I ended up adding the black later. Anyway, continue highlighting your cheesy bits. And I'm also shading in the red on my nose because I wanted it to look receded. And at this point, I wasn't sure if I wanted my eyes to be saucy or if I wanted them to be like sockets in a skull. And I ended up going with the sockets in a skull. So right now I'm creating some stringy cheesy bits of going from my eyebrow to my cheekbone and then filling in the rest with black. Before this step though, you did probably notice that I put in some contacts. These are from from Camo Eyes, my bad. These are from Camo Eyes. They are the Avatar lenses, and boy did they complete the character. Adding in more black around my eye. Be really careful when you're painting around your eyes. It's easy to get a little too close, and since it's water activated paint, it can very quickly just fill your whole eye with a film of color. It's actually not dangerous if that happens. It's just annoying and uncomfortable until you blink it out of your eye. So just avoid painting on your eyeball is all I'm saying. Add some more stringy bits connecting from the top to the bottom, and I'm highlighting them. And then I decided it would be cool if there was sort of like some cheese pores in the bridge of my nose. And then I added black to my nose, and then I decided to add the essence of teeth. So this is also the same effect with my eye sockets, with the stretching and pulling of the cheese but I didn't want it to be the sauce. I just thought it was way more striking as a skeleton character if it had the black sockets and the black teeth. And that's it. That's all there is to it. Make your pizza skeletons. Don't forget to bake them completely. You don't want to be eating raw pizza dough. But thank you very much for requesting this, guys. I really enjoyed it. Let me know what you would like to see next. Do you want to see more pizza skeletons? Do you want to see different food skeletons or more fuzzy creatures? Or do you have like a completely unique idea? But Merry Christmas. Love you guys. Thank you so much for sticking to the end of this video. This was so much fun. So thank you to everyone that wanted more food skeletons. And thank you to my cousin Harley for specifically requesting a pizza skeleton. And I know it was requested another time. I'm looking for the comments. If I find them, I'll put them in the bottom here. But thank you so much for requesting this. I love how it turned out. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any new videos. It's very important because craziness and stuff like this happens around here all the time. Also, huge shout out to my wonderful Patreon producers. Without you guys, I couldn't make makeups like this, so thank you so much for believing in me and for funding what I do. It means more than I ever can express. And if you guys ever want to become a producer or a sponsor on my Patreon page, I link it up in the corner and you get like exclusive perks behind the scenes, cool photos and live streams and all this other crazy stuff. So if you're able and if you want to, that's always an option. But I love you guys and I will see you in the next video.